Are we going live? It would appear so. So let's open up Google Hangouts. Let's check and see if the microphone is working. The microphone is working. Let's see if the YouTube feed is going live. I really hope the internet is working today, because if it's not, we're going to be in trouble. Uh-oh. It's not looking very good. I'm going to have to continue on as if it's going. Yes, I think it's going. Okay. So hello and welcome. It's episode 2 of the Sorenzo Prop Show. It's been a couple of weeks since episode 1 because I've been quite busy. As I said earlier on my Facebook page, we have a little bit of problems with the internet, so I really hope that it stays good for the next hour or so and we don't get cut off. But so yeah, welcome, episode 2. Let's get on with it. What's been happening since I spoke to you last? There's not a lot been going on here, to be perfectly honest. Not prop and costume related anyway. I've been having to take another job, which is completely non-prop related. Sometimes I do this because it might be fun. Sometimes I do this because I might need the money. This one is not fun. I definitely need the money, but it's just about done. So we're back to our regular schedule as of the weekend. I'm doing a few little bits and pieces while I've been working on that in the evenings. The Duke Fleet helmet have been slowly painting it. It's the first piece that I've done that I think is a pristine paint finish. Everything else has been weathered and tarnished and battered and bruised. This one needs to be perfect, so I've been taking my time making sure I let all the paint cure properly, and it'll be assembled early next week. So hopefully get some pictures up from that. Tonight's show is basically going to be answering a lot more questions, frequently asked questions. Over the last couple of years, I get lots and lots of emails, and a lot of them ask the same things, and sometimes I don't reply to them. Sometimes I have to give really short answers, which is not really nice. But answering emails can take up quite a bit of time, so I'm compiling this FAQ so that I can potentially direct people here rather than have to email them. If you're watching live, you'll hear my answers live. If you're watching on YouTube, in the descriptions box, which will be down here, I will put a list of questions that I answered and a particular question that you want answered, and I've just emailed you a link to this video. You can just skip to that section and listen to the answer, or listen to them all. They're quite interesting. So let's just get into it. Let's start answering the question. And the most popular one is, how much does it cost for a prop piece? Whether it's a helmet, whether it's a space gun, whether it's a sword, how much does it cost? And this is a big question, because there is so much to consider in it. It depends on what I'm making. Firstly, if you know me, you know my work. It's all about attention to detail with me. I like to make things as accurate as possible, as high quality as possible, with as many fine details as possible. And basically all this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort on my part. It takes a lot of expense with materials, with equipment. So there is a hell of a lot to consider when I am making a prop piece. Basically, I'll need to assess what size the prop piece is. I'll need to assess how much work needs to go into it, how much cost is involved, before I can actually make a price, arrive at a price. This is can take quite a bit of time. Some pieces have a lot of unknowns, a lot of research needs to be done. I don't know offhand what every piece of material costs, and I don't know offhand how long things are going to take me, so I need to sort of guesstimate. To put it in perspective, something like the Daft Punk helmets. Daft Punk helmets were not a commission. Somebody did not ask me to make them. I started making them for myself. They have probably taken thousands of hours right now. I've started working on them about 4 years ago, so and I've been doing little by little, building up slowly. So if you were to pay someone for 1,000 hours work, it's going to be quite expensive. On the other hand, you've got things like chroming. Chroming can cost 200 to 300 quid. That's pounds sterling. That's getting it shipped down to the chrome suppliers, paying the chrome suppliers to do their job, and then getting it shipped back. This is why a Daft Punk helmet will cost over £1,000. The electronics for it will cost hundreds, as well as an extra couple of hundred hours, man hours. Then I need to think about myself. I need to pay myself. I need to pay my rent for my workshop, without which I could not make all this. When it comes to payment, the minimum wage in the UK here is, I don't know, maybe £5–6 an hour. I probably don't pay myself that, but I don't do this for the money. I do it because I really enjoy it. So all these things need to be considered before I can actually reach a price for a prop. I think it's one of the biggest questions that I get. They see a picture of something on the internet and they're like, hey, how much? And it's not something that I can do just like that, and a lot needs to be considered. So part of these FAQs is to help people realize that it's not something that I can just give a snap answer to. Another question that sort of comes along with is, how long would it take me to make that? Generally, that's another question that I find it very difficult to answer, because every prop is different. Everything needs different tools, different equipment. It needs different processes. It needs different materials, which have different curing times. So again, it depends on what I'm making. The ballpark seems to be around the sort of 100 to 200 hours, depending on the size of it. I can usually get things down, but what I like to do is to space props out, builds out over a period of a couple of weeks or a couple of months, so that I don't have to work to a tight deadline. I try and avoid tight deadlines as much as possible to give myself some space, and I can work on multiple things and I don't get bored. But usually when we discuss a commission, we talk about that. So if you need to know, it's all part of the commission process. Another one is, how do you actually go about commissioning me to make a prop? And I've got some information on my Facebook page. It's in the notes section, which people find it very difficult to find in the Facebook page, but the notes section has information about commissioning me to make a prop, and there I detail a lot of information about what you should do if you do want to go ahead and make contact with me. There are 3 pieces of information that I generally ask for. The first piece of information is, what do you want me to make? And people quite often will just send me a picture and be like, space gun. That's not all the information I need. I need a lot more than that. I need to know what the space gun is, where it's from. I need you to send me as many pictures as possible that you can find, because for me to do this takes time, and I'm very, very busy, so I prefer not to have to scour the internet looking for obscure pictures of space guns. So the more information you can give me, the better. I also want to know some details. Do you want this space gun to be lightweight? Do you want it to be safe for convention? Do you want to have electronics in it? Do you want any moving parts? I need to know these things so that I can figure out if it's something that I can make for you, if it's something that I'll need to get extra help for, if it's something that's going to be worthwhile. The second thing I need to know is, when do you need it by? If you say, oh, I want a space gun and I need it by next week, it's not going to happen. If you tell me that you need it by end of the year, yeah, that's something I can possibly do. So needing to know that the time scale is a definite. And the third piece of information I ask for is, what is your budget? And people generally freak out by this. Nobody kind of wants to show their cards and sort of say what they have to spend, but this will help me greatly, because sadly, people they see shiny things on the internet and they say, oh, I want that. They see people like me making them and they think, oh, I'll get this guy to make it. And they're thinking $50 and I'm thinking 500. So we're on 2 different pages. I need to figure out as quickly as possible if we are on the same page. If you say you want a space gun and you've only got £100 to spend on it, I'm not going to be able to help you. There are other foam builders out there that can do stuff like that, but that's not the way that I tend to work. I want to make a high quality resin casting, which takes silicon, takes resin, takes time. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than that. So by giving me an indication of your budget, we can hopefully work something out and figure out pretty quickly without wasting each other's time, if we are on the same page, and that's very important. So there are the 3 pieces of information that I generally require, and these help me to make a quote, to figure out a price for a prop commission very, very quickly. So I generally direct people towards my Facebook page to get that. It's warm. I've got all these lights shining on me to try and brighten the room up, and it's quite warm. So The next one that I get is it's about pieces that I've already made. So a lot of folks see the Daft Punk helmets and they see space guns and various things, and they ask, will I make them again, basically? And the answer to this is maybe. It generally depends on what you're wanting to make and when you're wanting to buy it, and if I am busy or not. I know some prop artists tend not to make more than one of something, or they may make a couple of things, and once they're gone, they're gone. I don't really like to do that, particularly with the Daft Punk helmets. I always wanted Daft Punk helmets when that's partially why I got into this business. And for me, just to make one or two Daft Punk helmets and never make them again, I think would be a sin. If somebody else wants one out there, I'm going to try my best to make it for them. In saying that, I don't want to only make one prop for my entire career, so I tend to limit it. But generally, I will consider making a replica of a replica that I've already made. This leads nicely on to if you want a replica but you can't afford the crazy money that I charge, what can you do? Well, I offer kits, and a kit basically is a raw resin casting of the pieces that I make, whether it's a helmet or whether it's a space gun or a sword. And these kits are basically what I will use. I'll make a mold and take a resin casting and then finish that resin casting to make a beautiful prop piece. And this is something that people can do themselves at a far cheaper price. So the resin kits are available for most of my prop pieces. I have a shop which is on Etsy. I will have a shop on my website once it is live. And so you can go to the Etsy page and you can select to buy a prop piece there, and it will come just a blank piece of resin that you will then have to assemble and finish and paint and turn it into a prop piece. The kits, what are they made of? Generally everything that I sell is our polyurethane, high impact polyurethane resin casting. I do offer some different resins depending on the piece, some heat resistant resins for the Daft Punk helmets if you want to get them chromed, but generally everything is polyurethane. Very easy to work with and relatively strong, but don't go dropping them. How do I pay? This quite often comes in different guises, but generally I accept PayPal. Most folk tend to have PayPal nowadays, which makes it quite easy. And if you don't have PayPal, there is an option to pay through PayPal with a credit card or a bank card. I think it's a little bit complicated to find your way around to it, but if you don't have a PayPal account, there is ways that you can pay for these things. Very, very easy. People quite often ask about paying. They often ask about discounts as well. And do you offer discounts on multiple items is quite often a big question. And that's a kind of a yes and a no. Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for dozens, well, maybe I might be able to work something out. But if you're looking for 1, 2, or 3, the answer is no, because it's going to take me the exact same amount of time to make it. It's going to take me, it's going to use the exact same amount of resin. What I can do is I can offer you discounts on shipping, and quite often that can be considerable. If you're buying 2 or 3 of something, it can be work out just a little bit more expensive than buying one with the shipping costs. So I can offer you some discounts there, but unfortunately not for anything else. People like to buy these things and they generally get a little bit impatient, which is understandable. How long does it take to send out a prop piece? Well, this is for the kits. I think for a commission piece, generally that's discussed with the commissioner, the commissionee. How long do you have to wait? I like to say 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a nice period of time that gives me the opportunity to get things made if they need to be made, to order in materials if I've run out of materials, if there are any mishaps in the workshop or I get sidetracked by some other thing. 2 weeks is generally the time. I do try and get stuff out as quickly as possible. I'd much prefer for you to have it than for it to be sitting here in my workshop, and the quicker you get it, the happier you're going to be. So it generally is my attitude to get things done as quickly as possible. The last few weeks, I will admit that I've not been great on the orders. I've been a bit behind, but I've caught up now, and yeah, generally within 2 weeks, but I usually aim to ship within 2-3 days. Another one that I get quite often is, do you accept trades? Very, very rarely. Although there are a lot of talented builders out there, there's a lot of people making some awesome stuff, and there's a lot of awesome stuff that I would really, really, really like to have. I don't have time to be finishing resin kits. I don't have time to be getting new space guns. I don't have enough room to be having a collection of prop pieces. So generally I say no. There have been occasions, I'm expecting something in the post right now which has been a trade, but it's very, very rare, so I tend just to say no for prop pieces, unfortunately. If I had a lot more time and disposable cash, I might consider doing that so I could finish them, but for now it's a no. What else do we get? Oh yeah, if I pay you a little bit extra, will you finish a resin kit for me? Not finish as get it completely ready, but some people don't really, they like to paint, but they don't want to do the whole assembly, trimming, stuff like that. They might not have a Dremel, in the case of Daft Punk helmets. Again, this is something that I sometimes offer if I am not too busy. I do have a sort of paint prep service that I offer for particularly Daft Punk helmets, where I will do all the trimming and preparing the visors, and then prepping it, filling any imperfections with filler, getting it nice and smooth, priming it, and then giving it a good sanding so it's ready for paint or for chrome. So this is a service that I can offer from time to time, depending on how busy I am. But you do have to pay extra, unfortunately. You get nothing for nothing. Another one, do I make shipping crates to send props out? For the kits, no. I don't. I send them in cardboard boxes. It'd be too expensive to send everything in a robust case. But for finished prop pieces, the likes of Daft Punk helmets, yes, I do offer shipping crates. Unfortunately, they do cost a little bit extra. I think they work out between £50 and £150, depending on the size you want, and foam if you want custom foam in it. But generally, with big expensive pieces, anything over £1,000, I sort of say, yeah, we need to send it with a reputable courier and in a very solid shipping crate, just to avoid any mishaps. I think it's a sensible option. If you paid that much money for a piece, why would you want to risk it getting squashed by some lazy courier as it travels halfway around the world? So spending a little bit of extra money on the shipping crate makes a lot of sense. And again, it's something that we discuss when I'm taking on commissions. Let me see, what else have we got here that are usual questions? I've been scouring through my emails to try and find the most common one. Kits and bits. Oh yeah, okay. So why haven't you made X, Y, or Z? Or hey dude, you should totally make this space gun, blah, blah. Yeah, there's lots and lots of stuff that I would love to make. On my Facebook page, I believe I do have an album that has a whole collection of really badass things that I would really, really like to make. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to make them all. This is my full-time job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my rent. This is how I have a roof over my head and how I eat every day. So I need to make money when I'm doing this. If I was down in the workshop all day making cool and awesome things for myself, I would go hungry and I'd probably be homeless pretty quickly. There are occasions where I do take on sort of smaller personal projects because something's really cool, I want to make it. But generally there is no sort of pressure or timeline there. If I feel like not working on it for a couple of weeks, I won't work on it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months in some cases. I will always try and make a cast and know that I can make copies, make some money off it. But if I was to work like that all the time, I think I'd go out of business pretty quickly. I need secure commissions from paying customers to make sure I can continue doing this. So unfortunately, all the awesome things that you would love to see me make, you're going to have to get someone to commission me, either yourself or somebody else. That also leads on to a question I don't have here, but I've just thought of regarding the price of commissions. I don't make one-off pieces. I generally make molds so I can make resin castings. And that way I can make multiples, and this helps me. I think I discussed this in my previous video. This helps me to subsidize the cost of a commission. If I think that I'm going to be able to sell X number of casts once I've made the finished piece for the customer, that can help me to subsidize the cost of the commission. So with that in mind, if I was to say that, I don't know, a space helmet is going to cost, you know, somebody £2,000 to make, let's just say £2,000, I will probably have calculated that it will cost a lot more with time and materials than that. It'll probably be £3,000 or £4,000, but there's no way somebody's going to pay that for one helmet. So what I will do is I'll think, okay, hopefully I'll be able to sell over the coming year, I'll be able to sell another £2,000 worth of casts. Wishful thinking, but I might take that risk. If 10 people were to come along to me and they were to say to me, oh, we want you to make 10 of these helmets, well, I could probably do that a lot cheaper for them, because I will make the molds. Now that will cost an X amount of money, but then the cast will be considerably cheaper. So getting groups of people to make props, to commission props, makes a lot of sense. 10 people paying a small amount of money is better than one person paying a hell of a lot of money. So that is something to consider if you've got a group of buddies who all like a particular video game or all like a particular prop piece, and you wouldn't mind having one. If you could all commit to paying a little bit, you could probably get that for a lot cheaper than what it would cost if you made it on your paid for me on your own. So that's something to consider. That's one that just sort of popped into my head. I'd like to do a further video about that, but we'll wait and see what happens. What else gets asked? Let me see. Yes, I quite often get emails from people saying they've got some sort of charity event, or somebody's really ill or something like that. I don't want to say sob story, because quite often these things can be genuine, but when it comes to doing some work for some sort of charitable cause, I tend to decline, unfortunately. I tend to choose my own charities and what I want to donate to. I have done some stuff in the past, and I will probably do some more stuff in the future. I will definitely do some more stuff in the future. But I do get quite a few emails from people asking for things for free. And again, like I mentioned earlier on, I have bills to pay. If I was to do stuff for free all the time, I wouldn't be in business for very long. So I tend to choose my own charity events. And that just makes it a lot simpler for me. I know I'm doing my part. What we got next? Oh, we're flying through this. Okay. Original designs. This is something that has popped up several times over the last few years. If I have, if the customer has an original design, their own concept for a prop piece, will I make it? The answer is yes, if you can pay for it. Like I mentioned earlier on, making something that's, you know, sort of popular, whether it's a, you know, comic book character or a movie prop, people are going to know it. So the chances of me being able to sell casts in the future, whether that's, you know, copies of the finished piece or resin kits, is quite high. If you have designed something yourself, more than likely you are the only person who is going to want to buy it. So with that in mind, if I was to make an original piece, I would have to charge for all of my hours, for all of my materials, for all the expenses that are incurred. So generally an original piece is going to be considerably more expensive. I have had several inquiries in the past, and when it basically boils down to people don't have the money to make these things. They have great ideas, some fantastic looking things which I'd really like to get involved in. Again, it typically tends to be DJs who are trying to emulate Daft Punk. Some have been really great designs, some not so great. But yes, I will definitely consider making an original piece. I would love to make an original piece. So if you've got the money, yes, we can do it. And I think that, what else? Yeah, we're getting into more generic questions. I did cover a lot of these in episode 1 of the Sorenzo Prop Show, where I talked about me and how I got started in this, what has inspired me, and my story thus far. But quite often I get that, how long you've been doing this. And I've been doing it 5 years. If you want to know a little bit more about me and how I got to here running Sorenzo Props, you can look at the last video, Sorenzo Props Show. It's on YouTube, like this one will be. So go check it out. You can find out a little bit more about little old me. A big one that I get now is, where did you learn to do all this? I do quite often get, dude, how do I do this? How do I do what you do? Which is quite baffling how I'm supposed to answer that in an email. But I like making stuff. I've always made stuff. I went to school for this partially. I did a short course in model making, which sort of led on to props. But generally, I would say the majority of the stuff that I know has been learned from others who are doing something similar, and that's generally through the internet. There are amazing forums, hundreds of forums, all with all sorts of information. Places like the RPF, the Replica Prop Forum, is just a labyrinth of information. If there's some sort of geeky thing that you want to make, if somebody hasn't made it or tried to make it on the Replica Prop Forum, it probably doesn't exist because there's so much going on there. People share their information. There's lots of prop artists who keep blogs, like I do, which detail everything that they do and how they do, the mistakes that they've made and the tricks that they learn. There's loads of costuming sites. I can't remember them offhand. Even some of the material producers like Smooth-On have dozens of tutorial videos and information how they use their products, what their products can be used for. The internet is a wonderful thing. There is so much information on it, and if you don't know how to do something, rather than go and email somebody like me, who's quite often very busy, saying, how do you do it? Try and figure it out for yourself, you know. Type into Google. Google's so easy to work now. You ask Google a question, it spits out an answer. So go ahead and ask Google a question. You don't even need to put a question mark at the end of it. So yeah, trial and error, get learning, get making, get doing. The next one, which kind of leads on from that, is will you teach me? Or how can I make this? Like, quite often get emails with a couple of pictures attached going, I'm trying to make this this piece, how best to do it, what should I use? And occasionally on Facebook I'll answer, but generally I don't have time to get into long conversations because it's generally not something that I can answer with a couple of comments. It takes a lot of time to explain things, and you also need to have a little bit of skill, and not knowing someone's skills and ability is going to help me, is going to hinder me from telling them how to do things. To compensate for that, I do the likes of this. I make videos. I keep a blog. I will admit my blog hasn't been updated in the last wee while, so I'm going to try and rectify that over the winter. But yeah, I detail all the steps that I take in making my pieces. What I do, how I go about doing it, what products I use, what way the products work, how they work best, what not to do, mistakes that I've made. I try and put as much detail as possible into those so that people can see and people can be inspired by what I do and hopefully give it a go themselves. So when folk email me and ask me to tell them how to do it, I'm afraid that I just don't have time, but I do a lot to try and encourage people to make their own things. I am hoping to do a lot more videos, which are going to deal with the basics rather than sort of, you know, the big highfalutin, here's how I made a space helmet in 2 weeks or something like that, to actually look at the small little details of, you know, how to use simple products like glues and fillers and paints and stuff. But that's all in the future. We'll get to that. So yeah, I can't tell you how to do this, but hopefully you can figure it out for yourself with the help of Google. And the last one that I've been getting quite a lot of, excuse me, do you take on apprentices and interns? And when I first got this email, I said no. But as you know, over the summer months, I had Jennifer, or J-Props, as you know, in for 2-3 months, and she was my summer intern. So yes, it is something I do. Unfortunately, I'm based in Glasgow, in Scotland, in the United Kingdom. So if you are wanting to intern with me, you'd need to be pretty close to Scotland, or at least be willing to come to Scotland while you're doing your internship. Unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, it'll be unpaid internships, but I do try and give something back. J-Props got to do a number of projects where I provided all the tools and equipment, obviously, because she's in my workshop, but also the materials that were needed. And so a lot of silicone was used when Jen was here to make some awesome stuff. She made the baby Groot, actually, which you've probably seen on my Facebook page recently. So yeah, interns, I already had an email about from somebody looking to intern next summer, so that's quite exciting. I already got a bit of interest in that, so I'll be looking forward to see who comes through. And I think I have pretty much got through all my questions, which is brilliant, and it only took half an hour. So what am I going to do for the next half an hour? That's the question. Let's go over to Facebook and see if there are any questions. Any questions? Let me see. Yes. There is a question there. And is there any in the Q&A app? Where's the Q&A app? If you're watching live, and there are 4, woohoo! I think that's my highest so far. Hi, Mom. Hope you're watching. I can't find the Q&A app now. We were doing so well. It's all gone to shit. Oh, here it is. Let me see. There's nothing in the Q&A app. Okay, so there is one question on Facebook, so we'll answer that. And this is from Chris. Would you recommend making props as a career choice to people who don't know what they want to do, or perhaps have slight interest in it? Or should we stay well away from it? Stay away! Don't do it! Stay away! No. Would you recommend making props as a career choice? Not necessarily a career choice, but if you have an interest in it, I would say, yeah, definitely get making. I absolutely love making stuff. It's so rewarding. Whether it's, something really, high spec and accurate and detailed and takes years like Daft Punk helmets, or whether it's just something really quick and simple, doing something crafty, doing decorating, painting, sketching, doing is brilliant. It's good for the soul. So if you have an interest in this, yeah, get making. This kind of falls back to the question. It's like, how do I do what you do? You need to make stuff, and you need to practice, and you need to practice a lot, and you need to get really, really good at it. For a career choice, yeah. The world of fandom and geekdom is taking over. The geek will inherit the earth one day. This is true, and there are a lot more people who are starting to make a living out of things like prop replicas and out of cosplay. So it is a valid option at the moment. There's also the other avenue of going into movie and theater and television props. But generally what I'd say is start doing it, and if you enjoy doing it, do it for the love of it. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it because you think it'll be a cool job to have. Do it because you enjoy doing it, and if it slowly turns into a job, well then yeah, go for it. Go for it. So thanks for that question, Chris. I like that. So that's pretty much it. There's no more questions. That's a shame. Oh well. So what are we going to talk about for another half an hour? I could just ramble on. I might have some more tea actually. That'll do. So we might discuss what we've got planned for what's happening over the next couple of weeks. So I have been very busy working on other stuff that is not prop related, and very little prop related stuff has been happening. But over the next 2-3 weeks, there is going to be a hell of a lot of stuff happening. A lot of costume stuff. Most importantly, what day is it? Today is Thursday. So a week today, I will be leaving Glasgow to travel down to London to go to the MCM Expo for the first time. I don't think I've been to London in about maybe 7 or 8 years. So yeah, I'm heading down with Alistair Watson of Alistair Watson Photography, and we are going down to MCN for the whole weekend for mostly pleasure, a little bit of business. But I've decided that I need to bring some new pieces and new costumes down, so I haven't even started that. So yeah, over the next 7 days, I'm going to be putting together a costume for MCM. I will also be wearing my Red Hood costume. I'm not sure what days I'm going to wear either costumes. and I might bring down my Adventure Time, my giant beardy Finn costume if I've got room. But that's pretty exciting. I'm well looking forward to that. There's a lot of people that I follow on the internet, on Facebook and Twitter, that are going to be there. So it'll be great to actually meet them and see their work. And by all means, if you see me, come and say hello, because I want to meet all you guys. It's my first time getting down there. So I definitely want to shake lots of hands. And if you are in costume, don't be too weirded out if I start feeling you up. I don't want to touch you. I just want to touch your costume. People get a little bit freaked out. And I think we got a question. Yes, we have. This is from Stephanie Emma. And what's been the most rewarding piece that you've made, and which one has been the most challenging? The most rewarding. Wow, that's a tough one. I do kind of want to say the Daft Punk, but the Daft Punk helmets have been a bit of a love-hate. Daft Punk don't have one helmet, they've got many helmets, and as you know, I've made several different versions of them. And I don't actually have a Daft Punk helmet for myself. So to say one of those is rewarding, it was really quite nice. Yeah, it was really nice to make such a beautiful piece, or a beautiful piece. I've made several of them now. It was really rewarding. It was so sad to have to put them in a box and ship them to the far side of the world, never to be seen again. So that was it's a real bittersweet. Other things that I have made that have been quite rewarding. Simple things like my Adventure Time sword. That was really quite rewarding. I don't know why. I made it in like a day out of some wood. It cost me some wood and some aluminium. It cost me no money. I bought a bit of paint, and I think I bought a can of spray paint for £8, and all of a sudden I had this beautiful sword that looked freaking awesome. Really cool costume. So yeah, doing simple things like that come off and be quite rewarding. It was something I built for me as well, and I've still got it downstairs. I did make a mold of it and make casts. But that was really rewarding because it was my piece, and I'm going to hang that in my house and treasure it forever. So that was quite rewarding. There's loads of questions popping in. Here we go. And what has been the most challenging? Well, we all know that was definitely the Daft Punk helmets. There was so much unknown territory here. I've had so many problems with things like chroming. And then, of course, having to learn all about electronics was just absolutely mind-blowing. I didn't have to do all of the electronics. The programming and stuff was, I was helped greatly with that. But it was definitely a new sort of a new skill set that I needed to learn. So that was really challenging. And it's not over yet. The Daft Punk stuff is starting again in November, maybe before November. And I will be making a couple of new helmets, and I'll be making the Guy Manuel Discovery version, which has the full scrolling LED matrix, 14 by 35, which I don't think anybody else has done. I've not seen any of them anywhere kicking around. Okay, so loads of people are asking questions here now. Which order did they come in? So the Infomaniac. Hello, Hammerhead. How's it going? It's going good. It's great. How are you? I found this hangout. Oh, okay. You just random. You're just random. Do I like Doctor Who? So the Infomaniac wants to know if I like Doctor Who. I don't like Doctor Who. I tried to watch it, and I really just don't get it. I have tried to look at it from a professional point of view, where I was looking at the props. I do know I've gone to some exhibitions about Doctor Who, and some of their prop making is really quite brilliant. The way that they do things. I know my intern J Props. She worked on some Doctor Who sets, and she found it amazing. But I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the show, sadly. And oh, you've got more questions here. The Infomaniac. And the episode I'm really looking forward to the most is Forest Night. Oh, I think this is going to be. This is another Doctor Who question. Oh, I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Infomaniac. But I think you just dropped by all of a sudden. I didn't realize you can do that. Apparently, you can just drop by the Hangout. Amazing. So, what else have we got lined up? What's happening? Oh, tomorrow. what's today? No, Saturday. Saturday, I'm doing a photo shoot with Alistair Watson Photography, and I think Kitty Lappin Cosplay will also be involved. I don't know if I should tell you about that. I think I'm just going to keep that one a secret because only a few people know about it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a very exciting photo shoot that hopefully will be released in time for next weekend. The plan is to have some, while I'm away in London, to have some stuff that's going to be popping up on the Facebook page to keep you guys entertained. So there should be some awesome images from an awesome photo shoot. What else is happening? It's my birthday next week. Yay! While I'm down in London, it's going to be my birthday. So yeah, if you're in London, come and say happy birthday to me on Sunday. That'll be fun. Right. Let me see. Have we got any new questions coming in? No new questions. So, dead space, eh? Right, what have we got coming up in the future? Well, so this is episode 2 of the Sorenzo Prop Show. And I've been trying to figure out, I don't know if I can justify doing these things weekly. I would like to get to the point where I can do them weekly. It's nice sitting and talking and answering questions and stuff, but we need to build a fan base first of all. So I'm thinking, I'm very busy for October basically. In November, I'm going to do episode 3, and I think we're going to get a live guest here in the studio rather than a sort of a hangout guest. We're going to get someone live to come in and talk. It'd be nice to have somebody sitting here with me. So I think I might do a couple of live guests, some local talents from here in Glasgow. I've not fully confirmed who I'm going to get to do that, but yeah, I quite like having some live interaction. It should be good, and you can learn more about some other people's work and what they do. It's going to be different from what I do. I'm not just going to get a mirror of myself in. So different people doing different things that are related to the world of prop and the world of cosplay and stuff like that. I do hope to expand this show to get guests in via the web feed, via Hangout. So some more international guests, but we're going to have to build up to that. So spread the word about the Sorenzo Prop Show. If you are one of the 5 watchers watching this now, thank you very much for tuning in. And if you're watching this on YouTube later on, again, thanks for watching. I am running out of things to talk about because there's not much happening, not much planned apart from what I've already spoken about. So I'm going to refresh the page another couple of times and see is there anything else popping in. No more questions. There we go. No more questions. Oh, there's the Infomaniac is away. That's great. Oh, that's nice he dropped by. Okay, so I can't really think of anything else to answer. I hope the FAQ question was somewhat relevant. I think there's a lot of boring stuff, to be perfectly honest. But, oh well, it needed to be done. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. I don't know where the button is. Somewhere down here, there's a subscribe button. There will be a lot more videos happening in the future. But for now, I think I'm just going to say goodnight because I'm tired and I want to go home and it's been a long week. So everybody who has tuned in, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Mom, #1 fan. And for everybody else, thank you as well. Episode 3 will be coming along in November with live studio guests. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Sorenzo Props. There's also a Twitter where I randomly shout on about movies and props and being pissed off at work and stuff. There is also an Instagram account and all that sort of stuff for pictures. But yeah, check out Sorenzo Props pages if you haven't already done that. And we'll see you next time for the Sorenzo Prop Show episode 3 with live special guests. So thank you, everybody, and good night.